Ben wants to bring that Warriors style to his team. Go for two every time. What do you think of that philosophy?
The bringing the Splash Brother philosophy to the NFL, huh?
Yeah.
You know, I think there's probably something to be said for it, especially now that they've moved the extra point, back to being what is still a very high percentage kick for a lot of kickers, and yet it does add some more variability. I think there's some people that would argue that you would go for it on fourth down a majority of the time as well. And again, I think it's depending upon the offense that you're in and the guys that you have, but certainly the weapons that the Steelers have, maybe they should be going for it on fourth down and going for two every time. I think everybody would love to see that.
Okay, but if you were given full autonomy that you could do whatever you wanted to do, fourth down, going for 2-point conversion, what would you do?
That's a good question. Well, I think personally I feel like if we went for two, that we could make it more than 50% of the time. And I think fourth down, depending on where you are on the field, I feel like if you're in a manageable situation, we could convert most fourth downs. So I'm all for it.
You going to tell Coach Payton about that?
Well, it's his decision, but I think I don't need to tell Coach Payton to be more aggressive. I think we got that. I think we got that part of it taken care of.
Is it easier for a rookie quarterback coming in now or tougher?
Well, I think they're more prepared now than they ever have been. And you can attribute that to probably any number of things. I think you look at what the opportunities are for high school quarterbacks nowadays that were not there, let's say, when I was coming out of high school. These 7-on-7 passing leagues, and the amount of time and commitment that they put towards playing the game and mastering the game in their position is infinitely more now than it was, even 10 years ago. Then you get to college, and I feel like there's so much carryover and crossover with coaching and with systems from college to NFL. You get colleges or coaches that have been at both levels and basically run the same system. Now, obviously, the amount of time that you put into it at the NFL level is much greater than college. You're limited with, kids got to go to class, and they're limited to a certain number of hours per week on the field in college and spring ball and that kind of thing, whereas NFL, it's a full-time job. But bottom line is, by the time guys get to the NFL, they have put probably thousands of more hours into their craft than, guys 10 years ago. So, yes, I believe that they are more prepared. Now, defenses continue to evolve, offenses continue to evolve, so the complexity is maybe a bit more as well. So that requires more time on task. But, man, I think guys are more prepared now to come into this game and be successful than ever before, at the quarterback position especially.
What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
I remember it was practice, because when I got to the Chargers in 2001, they had Junior Seau and Rodney Harrison on defense, which to this day I've never seen two guys practice, prepare, and play like those two. Every day was game day for those guys, whether you had pads on or not. And their intensity and just their emotion and the way that they competed each and every day was awesome. It was unbelievable. They were football players, and they were leaders, and, man, they set the bar. So I'll always remember those two guys as being really influential on my career, and especially that first year just being eye-opening. Like, wow, this is the NFL, and those are the type of guys that I got to go up against now.
He's Drew Brees, Saints quarterback, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Well, congratulations. You made one of my guys cry with your courtyard commercial. Was that the goal? the Father's Day video, was that the goal, to make guys cry?
Well, it was supposed to honor fathers all across the country who, no matter what you do, you're working extremely hard, and trying to be the best, husband, father that you can possibly be. And at times that takes us away from our families. But just as a tribute to let fathers around the country know just how much they're loved by their families and their kids. And myself and Vince Wilfork and Ryan Khalil and Antonio Brown, we all had a chance to sit back and watch our kids talk about us on camera. And, it's always interesting to see what your kids will say, because you feel like you try to impart so much on them, even at a very early age. Whenever something happens in life when I'm with the kids and I feel like it's a teaching moment, I try to tell them a story or give them a lesson out of it. And, sometimes they give you that kind of glazed look and you're not sure if it's going in one ear and out the other or if they're retaining it. But bottom line is I think they see and feel so much more than you could ever imagine. And so all of a sudden when you get them in front of a camera and then they have a chance to talk about you, talk about, their dad and what their dad means to them and the things that they love doing with their dad, I mean, that puts it all in perspective. And it truly makes you realize that being a father is the greatest responsibility we have as a male. It is the absolute greatest responsibility. And so I take so much pride in it. I love doing this piece with Courtyard. I thank Courtyard so much for putting it together because it was really a great opportunity to just share that love with my kids.
And, of course, one of your sons says his favorite player is Cam Newton.
Well, he says that when asked what their favorite team is, I had two of them say the New York Giants and one of them say the Carolina Panthers.
So that's Odell Beckham Jr. coming into play here as well?
Yeah. So, I don't know what gets into these kids' heads, to be honest with you. Actually, I know the New York Giants one was Balin and Bowen. So those two go to Newman here in New Orleans, which is where Eli and Odell Beckham both went to school. So there's a little bit of, just kind of school pride, loyalty. I tried to tell them blood is thicker than water, but they didn't quite get that yet. And then Callan, my youngest, who is like super loyal to Dad, when asked what his favorite number was, he said, "Oh, Dad's number 9." And they're like, "Oh, what's your favorite team?" Carolina. And I'm like, "What?" So who knows? Yeah. But it's all right. I'm just gonna have to take it out on them in the yard when they want to try to play football with me or basketball.
Wow! Did you see this story? Remember the Buffalo Bills? Carlos Williams, running back, he put on 25 pounds when his wife was pregnant. And he said he put on the pounds because his wife was pregnant. He ate with her. Is that a good excuse?
Yeah. That might just be an excuse to, like if my wife said, honey, I'm going to gain 30 pounds in this pregnancy and you got to gain it with me and you have to eat chicken fried steak and all this stuff every day in order to do that. It'd be like, okay, that sounds great. I'm going to do that. I might not have to be talked into that. That I might jump right on board.
Yeah, well, the quarterbacks are all on a health kick now. Aaron Rodgers giving up cheese. Brady's got a cookbook. I mean, you maintain pretty good shape as well.
Yeah, listen, here's my theory is everything in moderation. You just don't go overboard with anything. Yeah, I try to eat as healthy as I possibly can, but do I have my splurge moments? Maybe that's one time a week where, I'm gonna eat a donut or I'm gonna eat my chicken fried steak or something like that. Yeah, absolutely, because I think it's life's little pleasures like that and kind of that, that opportunity just to be normal, But for the most part, yeah, I'm on a strict regimen. I mean, I'm very disciplined when it's time to be disciplined, but I also know when it's time to have a good time. And again, everything in moderation.
How do people get a chance to see the videos with Courtyard?
You know what? They're all over YouTube and they're all over the social media channels. So just you can follow me at Drew Brees on Twitter, Facebook, and all the guys that are involved, Vince Wilfork, Ryan Khalil, Antonio Brown, and then Courtyard as well. We'll be posting videos. Obviously, we did it yesterday, but we'll be doing it all the way up to Father's Day.
Great to talk to you, Drew. Have a good Father's Day. Thanks for joining us.
All right, Dan. Thank you.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.